If you want to break into the data analytics space, but you generally do not know where to start, well, in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step roadmap on how you can actually upskill in order for you to become a data analyst. How's it, data firm? My name is Clarence and I simplify data and AI and provide data and AI education through my academy. Now, if you're new, please make sure that you like and subscribe so that more people can actually see these videos and so that you can see more content like this. So let's get into it. Before we actually look at the roadmap, I think it's very important to understand what exactly a data analyst actually does, because that is how you get to understand the different skills that you basically need to learn in order for you to become a really good data analyst, right? So if you think about it, fundamentally, data analysts are meant to analyze data and help businesses make better decisions. So let's say the workflow, the end-to-end or day in a life with data analyst normally starts by a data analyst collecting data. So in the phase of collecting data, you need to have the knowledge to understand what data is actually relevant and what data we should be collecting in order to solve a particular problem, right? And once you collect the data, you need to have the skills to clean and transform the data, because in most cases, the data might not be in the best format that you actually need. So you need to have the skills to actually transform the data, clean it to the point where it can actually be used to do analysis. Once the data is in the right format, the next thing you want to do is now do analysis on the data, right? So start using amazing tools like Power BI to analyze the data, deriving insights from the data. Because once you've got insights, you present your insights to management and tell them that these are the key findings that you have and this is the solutions, or this is what is happening, and this is what needs to be done. Because the end goal is for you to support businesses in making better decisions. So you also need to have really good communication skills and be able to interpret what your data actually says and actually help businesses make better decisions. So that is what a data analyst basically does. Now, with that understanding, let's look at the roadmap of becoming a data analyst. Now, in terms of the data analyst roadmap, look, the first thing that you must do before you jump into any fancy tool or anything exciting in the data space, you need to start with your data fundamentals. When I say data fundamentals, I mean understanding the language that we speak as data analysts or data professionals, right? Like, what exactly is data? What is information? What is a database? What is a relational database? What is a NoSQL database? What is structured, unstructured data? You know, the key fundamental terms. What is data cleaning, transformation? So you need to be able to speak the language, and you need to understand why do we even do data analysis to begin with, right? So there's a lot of free courses around the internet in terms of the free courses on what is data analysis, the key fundamental concepts. That is your starting point, because if you cannot have a conversation with a data professional or data analyst and understand what they're talking about, then that means there is a gap. So firstly, get your data fundamental sorted. You need to understand the key data terminology and the words that we use in the data space. Once you have mastered your data fundamentals, the second thing that you need to learn is Google Sheets or Excel, right? I know people don't like these two tools, but honestly, these tools are very important. They are the tools that are hosting most of our data, right? In most cases, the data you're working with in companies is sitting in Excel and all of that, right? Sure, you can pull data from databases and stuff like that, but the first starting point from any junior, honestly, you need to be proficient in data analysis using Excel. That is the bare minimum, honestly. If you're not comfortable with using Excel or Google Sheets for data analysis, I do have a free course on my YouTube channel where I go through the skills that you need to have in terms of using Excel for data analysis. So definitely learning how to analyze data using Excel is very important. Even doing very, very basic visualizations using Excel, that is very important, right? That is the most beginner skill that you need to have as you trying to get into the data space. So do not skip Excel. You need to just know the Excel fundamentals that are relevant to data analysis. Not everything about Excel, but those that are specific to data analysis. So which is why I've got a course that specifically shows you the things that you need to have. So please make sure that you check out the course after this video. The next part, this is where things get really exciting. This is where you learn SQL. right? SQL is really one of the most important programming language that you need to learn as a data analyst. The reason being, a lot of the data in the world is still structured data, right? A lot of banks and companies still do transactions. There's a lot of data that is sitting in relational databases. Relational databases is still a very big thing. And if you want to get data from those or extract data or query data, you need to be proficient in SQL. It is one of the most important programming language for any data analyst. No matter what country, wherever you go, SQL is the basic language that you need to be proficient in before you know anything else, right? There's other languages, but I would highly recommend that you learn SQL. It is the key language. So this is when you start learning SQL. So you need to understand what is a select, where, from, CTEs, Windows function. You know, there's so much that you can actually learn about SQL, and it's a really amazing programming language to actually learn immediately when you've got your data fundamentals and you now understand Excel. Once you're comfortable with SQL, the next thing that you need to learn is Power BI. Now, if you think about it, guys, at the end of the day, businesses want insights from you as a data analyst. It doesn't matter what scripts you write and whatever. The end goal is to build Power BI dashboards that companies can actually use to make business decisions. And now this is where you learn Power BI or Tableau. So the data visualization is a very, very important sort of key role that a data analyst actually needs to play. So you need to be able to derive insights from the data that you have. Now, Power BI and Tableau come with amazing tools like you're able to clean data using things like your Power Query, build relationships between tables, connect to databases, and have real-time dashboards being created. These are amazing tools that you can actually use to help businesses drive better decision making. So there's a couple of certifications. If you go to their official websites, like Microsoft has all the free training for their Power BI, the PL300 certification exam, but you do pay for the, let's say, certification for the certification exam, right? But the content is actually free. It's a really good certification that gives you understanding on what Power BI is and all of that. Even Tableau has courses on their platforms. But what's really key in this is that you gain the practical experience of using these tools. Take the data, analyze the data, visualize the data, and that is really what is key for companies. Someone with practical experience in using these tools, not just having the certification, because at the end of the day, certification doesn't prove anything besides that you just completed something, but do you actually have the skill and capability to execute this task? You know, certifications normally do not give you that, so you need practical experience and projects that you build using these tools. Now, the last part, the last programming language that I highly recommend that you learn, this is where you learn Python, right? Python is an amazing programming language. You can automate a lot of redundant things that we do as data analysts, right? Even data cleaning, you know, they've got Python is amazing data cleaning capabilities, even for data visualization, data exploration. So it's really good for exploring your data, getting a better understanding of your data. And for those that want to eventually transition into data science, it's a very, very amazing programming language, because at the end of the day, as a data analyst, you don't just want to stay as a data analyst, or companies want you to have more. So learning Python is really good because you can now automate things and be able to start doing machine learning and stuff like that. So Python really is an amazing programming language for you to learn as a data analyst. So I would highly recommend that you learn Python after you've mastered all of that. So all you need to do really is to follow this roadmap, and lastly you will then have to do Python. But one thing that is really important is that you need practical experience in actually using these languages and also using these tools, because companies really do want people with practical experience. So in essence, that is what you need in order to become a data analyst. So in essence, that is the roadmap that you need in order for you to become a data analyst, right? You start with your data fundamentals, learn Excel, learn SQL, learn Power BI or Tableau, data visualization. And then you can end off with learning Python, because it's a really amazing programming language that allows you to automate a lot of things. And obviously, you don't just want to stay as a data analyst in the long run. You also want to have business context, because domain expertise is very important. So companies value people with sort of industry experience, whether in retail and all that. So that's what you can actually do to complement your skills, and also try to to upskill to become a data scientist, learn statistics and all of that. But those are things that you actually do after you've mastered the roadmap. So in essence, that is the data analyst roadmap. So if you guys like this video, please make sure that you like and share this video so that more people can actually see more content like this. Thank you guys.